Okay, very briefly, 2 minutes. You're going to be seeing in dashboard, unified ones, are a very strong focus on results. What did we have? What happened in the last 3 months? Okay, who's been the best salesperson? Can we accelerate that? Funnel. Where is your funnel? What are the chances of you achieving your number in the next 3 months, based or by company, by country, by team? And then activity. What activities has been happening, and that will have an enormous influence on what will happen following up the next 3 to 6 months. When we look at this is the final management and the management dashboard. Okay, you'll see this, that basically you have the dashboard where you'll have the data on the current results, merchants acquired by country, acquisition versus the target, then that breakdown of BDs by tier. Then you can decide to focus on top performers and try to drive learnings and accelerate. Bottom performers, how do you challenge them to improve? That's the numbers. You can see who's doing best and try to get the lessons from there, or where you need action to drive your outcomes funnel. That gives you how is it looking? Where are your numbers? Are you capable of achieving the numbers in the next quarter or the following? You'll have it by tier one, and then two and three, and then a little bit the same. If you have a strong funnel, how do you drive that to ensure conversion? And then you can focus on building the future funnel, average funnel, and how can you move things faster? Or when you have a weak funnel, hey, what are the causes for this? What kind of solutions can you find for the future? And then in terms of activity, you'll see this very clearly. What's last month and this month's activity? If you have a strong task and activity output, great. Focus on conversion. If it's weak, how do you drive that to be stronger? When you look at the actual dashboard, here you have it. Okay, this is exactly what we mentioned. Numbers of the 3 countries. Okay, this is in terms of acquisition. You'll see what the composition of this. Then within the quarter, how are we looking versus target? Obviously, you can be a certain percentage depending on the time of the quarter you're in. 17%, we're I think around 20% of the quarter, so that doesn't look bad. And then when you're looking at the actual who sold by BD, you can see here, okay, Haryati, Tier 1, Zek, Tao are the biggest kind of closers in terms of deals of Tier 1. At the same time, you can see this by country, by Tier 2, Tier 3. You see Shafiq, Firdaus, Hakim, but also you see some people like Sarah Tay or Lynette, okay, here, that do deliver big numbers, and there can be great lessons from here. You also need to click in the case in each case and understand if exactly this person, what kind of deals they've done, but that's for the managers to do, because they might be very small deals, not profitable, the MDR, all this needs to be checked. And then when you're looking at the funnel, how does Tier 1 funnel look like? Okay. Depends on, here we're looking at specifically at Malaysia. Okay, here we have it by country, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. Okay, and you look at Zek. Okay, you look at Malaysia. You see the prospecting, pitching, and negotiating. This is a logical structure. You have to have more in the back end, but they'll need to build more no contact. And you can see that they have a pitching and negotiating around 45 deals, plus prospecting around 80 something. It sounds like they could be achieving their numbers. Okay, I have another analysis on that, because it's basically a question of percentage of conversion rates, but it looks quite solid. Then you look at the same thing in Singapore. The numbers are a little bit smaller. The focus is more, as you can see, in Tier 2 and Tier 3, because the numbers are a little bit different. When you look at Thailand, for example, apologies, here I go. Oops, here we go. Okay, and you can see that the numbers of prospecting are actually really high, pitching and negotiating higher even than Malaysia. To be fair, they've uploaded the information relatively recently. We did it with Shruti a month and a half ago. So there will always need to be a little bit of a cleanup in terms of, and you still need to execute on this. But the numbers look quite big. So it looks like a healthy funnel. While here, for example, what you're looking at is Singapore in Tier 2, Tier 3. Where are the most of the deals? Okay, there's a lot in no contact, for example. In the case of Malaysia, a little bit the same. You can kind of compare the sizes of the funnel. Prospecting here goes 120. In Singapore, for example, it's around 60, so smaller numbers. It could be that their conversion rates are higher. But this is the key. You as a manager can look at this and kind of identify if, for example, there is a sizable business here. For example, you see that Thailand has an enormous list in no contact. Okay, the good thing is that they're actually prospecting an enormous list. Here the challenge could be going through all of them, but still quite solid. And then here at the bottom, we're going to look at the activity tracker. And this is mixing the three countries. Malaysia is actually not running it yet. Thailand is, and especially Singapore is, where you can see all the meetings happening. And we've asked for a change to this to optimize and have a little bit of more detail of how many calls, how many callbacks, discussions with product team, first meeting, follow-up meeting. This way you can see if the activity, but this needs to be filled out. To be fair, every country needs to update their own information. Hope this is helpful.